I'd like to speak about today is the blue light exposure from smartphones, tablets, computers, etc. And as we know, blue light exposure can increase the risk of eye damage. It can cause an irritation, and even similarly, you can have some symptoms of macular degeneration. So you see little kids all the time on their mother's phone and they're playing games and they have it this close to their face. Now that really isn't good. I mean, because they're getting more blue light exposure for their retinas, and they don't really know the extent yet as to if this is going to cause any kind of eye damage. So when you look at the different spectrum of light, you have the red spectrum on one end, then you have a blue spectrum on the other. And if you just look at the periodic table, it goes from red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, and you can have violet in there too. But all those spectrum of light rays, there are many, they all combine, and it's called white light. And some of the white light rays are visible, some of them aren't. When you look at the one side, the blue side, you've probably already heard of ultraviolet light. And a lot of people sit under ultraviolet lights, like in the tanning beds and things like that. And you know, increased exposure to that can cause sunburn, can cause damage to your eyes, and it can, actually cause a lot of other damages, when you have a bad sunburn, etc. But that's typically from ultraviolet light, and that is on the blue end of the spectrum. Now, those ultraviolet light rays that come from the sun, you cannot see those rays, but you know they're there. You can feel the sunshine, but you don't know that the harmful effects that's happening from that exposure. You should always wear good ultraviolet protection sunglasses, because you can actually get some type of eye cancers from that continued exposure. So what I wanted to talk about today is that they always say there's about 10 million Americans in the U.S. today that have macular degeneration. And they don't know specifically what the cause is, but the risk factors are, which many of us are now, greater than 60. You can have diabetes, heart disease. Those are the three main risk factors anyway that can cause macular degeneration. And so when we look at blue light, which is on the far end of the spectrum, that actually is present in laptops, cell phones, pretty much your TV, etc. too, but mainly the main devices that you hold in your hand. And some of those blue ray exposures can actually damage your retina. So there are some good effects from blue light, and the benefits show that it can, regulate your circadian rhythm. So you know when to sleep, you know when to be up, when the sun's up, you should be up, unless you live in Alaska. And it increases in alertness, improves your memory, and then it actually lifts your mood. So when you have good blue light exposure, people that you can actually buy a light for the winter with people with seasonal affective disorder, and they sit in front of this light 20 minutes a couple times a day, and that actually increases their mood. But like even as Joe said before too, that if you have blue light exposure before you go to bed, looking at your cell phone, checking your email, seeing who's left messages on Facebook, etc., that blue light exposure can actually impair your sleep. And they always say an hour or two before bedtime, do not get on your cell phone, don't get on your computer and look at your email, because that blue light exposure decreases melatonin. And as we all know, melatonin is actually protective against cancer also, but melatonin is one of the last hormones on the hormone cascade that actually helps you sleep. So what should you do? There's many companies out there that have screen protectors for your iPad, for your phone, and some of those companies, these are just a few, are Low Blue Lights, EyeSave, Retina Shield, and there's also some blue light filtering eyeglasses that you could wear, but I just really recommend not getting on your phone before you go to bed. What are some things that we can consume dietarily that can actually help this? And I always say it's the colors of the rainbow. the orange and the yellows, the carotenoids that actually help protect your eyes. And then the red, dark blue berries, the anthocyanins, they also are antioxidants that can help protect your eyes. So one of the things that I read, and I hadn't thought about this before, but many times we're on the computer during the day, we're on our cell phone. Your teenagers are on their cell phone, they're like this all the time. So one of the things that you can do is the 20-20-20 rule. For every 20 minutes that you're on a device, you look away for 20 seconds and focus on something 20 feet from you. And that should help give your eyes a rest and help with the, so you don't have as much exposure. So if you have any concerns at all, I always recommend seeing, a qualified healthcare professional with like an ophthalmologist or an optometrist to help you with that. Thanks for watching. If this information was helpful, hit that thumbs up button down below. If you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button down below, then ring the bell next to it. Also, if you know other people that you would want to share this link with, please do so, because I would love to help them on their journey to good health.